these guys and the other vendors as well know more about what's going on because they're on the ground. They go to every single conference in the nation, right? So they hear everything. I mean, we do 12 of these events over the course of a year. You know, Tim's at 70, right? So these guys know what is trending. So what we're going to do first is Breton Applebaum is the area sales manager for Sciton. If you haven't met Sciton, he's sitting over there. But they've got a great system that they've been selling with us from the beginning. Breton's been around for a long time and knows his stuff. Tim Sawyer is the founder and president, I think, of Crystal Pill Digital Marketing, who is literally our second vendor 2 years ago. They've been to all of our shows. They do websites, social media, a bunch of other stuff he's going to talk about. And then Candace, the lovely Candace Noonan from South Africa, and she's with Environ Skincare. They were our first vendor. And so they've been at this for a long, long time, and they know what they're talking about. And what I want to do is first go down the list and just ask you kind of what you see for what is hot and what's trending. What's the next best thing in your specific industry? Brett, I'll start with you. So what do you see right now as what's going on in the laser industry? And you got a mic there too. So.
Yeah, no, and I just wanted to thank Alex for allowing me to be on the board here and just kind of go over these questions. I always kind of like to throw back a little bit because us being involved with this group is great because the excitement's here. I mean, we all do a lot of trade shows throughout the year, and I think this one it's exciting, it's new. Everyone is very energetic to get into aesthetics. So the trends are out there might be different than the trends that are in this room here. So within the laser world, I mean, by a show of hands here, how many are offering laser services? Okay, IPL, resurfacing, okay, vaginal rejuvenation. How many of those? Hold those up. Okay. So when you talk about trends, those are some of the areas that we're seeing. I mean, really, when you look at patient base and you look at the history of laser, okay, you talk about the days of the CO2 where patients were getting really nice results, but they were down for 7 to 10 days, right? That progressed, and then they went into the pro-fractional world. So instead of mowing the grass, we're aerating the greens, right? So it's less downtime, but still, they're down for 7 days. So the newer technologies out, maybe through Sciton or the partners here, offer treatments that are going to offer a lot less downtime with great results. So what patients are looking for today, or what we're seeing, is they want home run results, they want no pain, they want quick recovery time, they want it for free. The fact of the matter is you can't offer it for free, but you can offer those other things. So when you talk about skin rejuvenation, that's something that we're seeing. Another big trend right now is with vaginal rejuvenation. So any conference, any seminar that you go to is going to have some discussion, some talks, some live demos on those treatments. Patients are a lot more open about it, and it's addressing multiple needs, on and off label, and it's really being very openly discussed, and it's helping relationships. So those are some things that I've seen that might have been a longer answer.
Let's talk about vaginal rejuvenation.
Sure.
Because, and I say that as a lawyer, I never thought in my life those words would ever come out of my mouth, let alone in public, let alone in front of people that I don't know. But talk a little bit about that, because it's this new buzzword that, and I'm telling you, at these surgery conferences, it's all they talk about. Now, why is that? What's so great about it? What's happening with it that makes it so
As a man, we don't think of these things, but you hear this, and a lot of women are challenged with this. Painful intercourse is another. Increased sensitivity, lubrication. I mean, these are all things that, after a woman has had a child or gets a little older, postmenopausal, they just think this is life, and that's not the case anymore. Men have had a pill for how many years?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, got it. So this is the next side of these treatments happen in packages of 3, about 30 days apart. Treatment times, depending upon the procedure company, can range from 3 minutes to 45 minutes. They do both internal as well as external tightening. Okay. So after the third treatment, the urinary incontinence went away. So it's a life changer for her, and it's been very helpful. So did that answer?
Yeah. I've heard a lot about patient satisfaction rates. What are you seeing with that?
You know, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Go to Real Self. Who here goes to Real Self? Okay, so
You guys know what Real Self is? I mean, a lot of people don't. Real Self is a review site and a question and answer site for doctors.
Mhm.
So doctors and aesthetics can answer questions from patients and also give reviews.
Right, and so patients will go there to look up different types of treatments, vaginal rejuvenation, vaginal therapy, and they'll see what's working, what's not working, and you know, to Alex's point, doctors are able to make comments there. So, you know, this is what you really want to do. You want to find offices, practices that are offering these services. So, you know, any of these, the manufacturers, Sciton or Sharp-Light, you know, they'll have a list of who their doctors are, right, who carry their products. Give them a call, ask them. Get their feedback. So,
Well, and what we've seen is that the patient satisfaction rates for vaginal rejuvenation are like 97%. Like just out of this world. And women tell other women. And it's becoming this treatment that is highly, highly sought after. Tim's been doing digital marketing. His team has been doing it for a long time, and they're incredible at it. What do you see? I mean, you've kind of been on the ground. You go to more shows than anybody. What are you seeing right now from a digital marketing, advertising, getting the word out there? What do you see that's coming up on your radar?
Yes, great question, and I too want to say grateful and appreciative of the opportunity to speak with everyone. These are great events. I think I've done 30 of them, and I learn something new every time. And in my world, there's two trends. So I just spent 2 days with 20 practitioners, ranging from plastic surgeons, cosmetic dermatologists, medical spa owners, orthodontists, vein centers that are contemplating increasing their aesthetic market share. And there were really two trends that I think I took from that. And so the way that meeting works is these were clients who came in on their own volition, spent 2 days with us. They give us feedback on how to improve what we do, and they present to each other. And so there were two trends that I gleaned from that. One is social media, right? The difference between the practical application of social media and the media hype about social media. And so there's two schools of thought on that, right? We have what I call box checking, which the doctor says to his practice manager, we need to do more social media. Neither the doctor nor the practice manager really understand what that means, but now the practice manager goes, oh geez, now I got another thing I gotta do. I have to do social media, and they wanna check the box. So they do a Facebook post once a week, they set up an Instagram account, a Pinterest account, and they go back and report to the owner or the practice or the provider that we're doing social media effectively. And so, which can be damaging. And so one of the things that we talked about this weekend was the importance of building systems around any type of social media activity that you're engaged in. And what do I mean by that? So there's a big difference, and I'm going to talk later about this. There's a big difference between posting a picture of a dog driving a car and getting 10 likes and shares and feeling good about the likes and shares versus having a comprehensive strategy in place to figure out what are we going to post consistent with our business goals, how often are we going to post it, so consistency, frequency, where are we going to post it, what do we want the person to do when they see the post, where are we going to drive them, and then if we're successful, that they actually end up on our website, which is a miracle, and they actually either fill out a form or call the practice. What systems do we have in place, the people, process, and tools that we use to convert them from a social media follower, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter? What are the systems that we're going to put in place to monetize that? And so, and what can we say? And the extreme of that, even across our client base, we have the very conservative practitioners who they don't want to let themselves out there at all. They don't want to let people get to know them personally, versus that's the one end of the spectrum. And the other end of the spectrum is we have very successful plastic surgeons with more than 50,000 followers, social media followers, who do live treatments and procedures on Facebook. They'll stream a mommy makeover. They'll stream a breast aug. They'll stream a butt implant. And they'll get 25,000 views. and it'll start a thread that says everything from, are you nuts, to, wow, that looks amazing. Is that affordable? How much does that cost? And then he actually has a company that responds to all those inquiries on social media and converts them into paying patients. And so I think that's a huge trend right now, because you've got, at all the shows we go to, people are saying, do you do Facebook? And they don't know the question. I understand they don't know what the question is that they're asking. So the question that, the takeaway for you guys would be, okay, what are my business goals as it relates to the practice of social media? And then who do I want to be, and what do I want my practice to be in terms of the brand, right? And to make sure that it's authentic, because people can kind of smell through that. So I think that's the hottest topic on the marketing side. And then in terms of the kind of training, consulting, business practice side, is the importance of bringing a level of business acumen to your practice, whether it's a med spa or a dermatology practice. And what do I mean by that? So I spent an hour with two very successful plastic surgeons, one who owns his own software company and uses us, and they said one of the biggest letdowns, so particularly a surgeon will get 16 years of education and training, and guess how many business courses are required to open a practice? 0. So now this person has trained for 15 years, they're getting to go, they're excited about healing people or making people look pretty or whatever it is, and they've never taken a basic business course. And the reality is, when you're in aesthetic medicine or any type of elective procedure, you have to understand, this is a retail business. You are running Nordstrom's, you are running a Chick-fil-A. And what happens is, it's painful for someone who is a plastic surgeon to be told, hey man, the first and second biggest influences of whether or not someone chooses to work with you have nothing to do with your resume or training. They're reviews and before and after pictures. And that's a lot to take in. When you went to Johns Hopkins and you interned, you did everything right, and now because of social media, because of the explosion of access to information, and basically the short attention spans of the modern consumer, people don't care, right? So you have to understand that there are retail laws that apply to that. And so I actually am working now with some really excellent physicians on trying to put some courses together that we can integrate into your curriculum.
All of our speakers talk about skincare, selling skincare, selling retail. People don't do it enough. Nobody listens to us, but do it. Sell skincare.
You're doing your practice a disjustice if you're not sending the clients home with a product that's going to augment the results of the treatment that they just came in for. That's really what it comes down to. You have to choose a skincare line that's going to complement your practice, or else you're not going to achieve the results that you really want to for your clients. They're not going to see the best results out of their treatments if you're not complementing it with the corrective home care. And in terms of home care, it's quite interesting doing some research for this particular panel. I read a few peer-reviewed journals, I read a few experts in the industry, and then I sort of compiled it with my experience that I've had over the last 10 years of working in this industry. I think the old is going to become new again. I think we've got a lot of scientific research around a lot of key factors in terms of ingredients, and we know what works. So I think the trend is now, especially with our very savvy, technologically advanced consumers, they're going to do a lot of research work on their own, and they're going to come up with a lot of the stuff that we already know. They're going to start talking about retinoids as an example. Retinoids this year apparently are going to have a very big upswing. And what's going to happen is that your over-the-counter cosmetic companies are going to drive the marketing and start talking about all these fancy words that used to just be isolated in sort of your medical practice, or if you went to your plastic surgeon for something anti-aging. Whereas now, because they're so savvy with technology, they're doing their research work, they know the physicians are prescribing these vitamins and retinoids, and they want it as a consumer and they want to get it over the counter. So I think there's going to be a big upswing in the retinoids. Unfortunately, by doing that, the consumer is also going to be inundated with a whole bunch of marketing claims, and we're going to have to work very hard to make sure we're educating them that buying the retinoid or vitamin A cream from you is going to be very different to what they can get in Sephora. So making sure that there is that isolation between what they can get over the counter and what they're going to be getting from you. So retinoids are going to be an upswing. You're going to see a lot of clients asking for a vitamin A based product. Hyaluronic acid is going to take an upswing again because it's easily manufactured to put in a cosmetic product, and it's also very inexpensive. So if the consumer knows that buzzwords, they're going to be asking for it. They might not be getting the best product in the over-the-counter, but everyone's going to start claiming they've got hyaluronic acid in their product. Watch. There's a trend in the consumer wanting to match how they live their life in terms of health and wellness, and we juice, and we've got our vegetable bars and our raw juice bars, and they're going to want to match that trend to what they have in their bathroom cabinets. So look for a lot of skincare companies claiming to have superfood for your skin, that kind of thing. We have to be careful as an industry because it's such a big it's so easy to market and to make claims. We've got to have a look at things like bioavailability, how is it delivered to the skin, is the skin even able to absorb these ingredients? So always when you're choosing a skincare line, as much as you really want to be able to offer what your clients are asking for, you have to be able to back it up with science as well, that actually what's actually going to work.